Officials have said that the air quality is safe, that the air is safe, and there's no longer a risk in East Palestine. But as you heard from Neil and Neil's story, some residents are still on edge about potential health dangers of the chemicals in the air.
Let's turn now to our senior health correspondent, Monica Robbins, to explain if these concerns are still justified at this point.
After what these folks have been through, absolutely these concerns are justified. So I reached out to Cleveland Medical Center medical toxicology expert Dr. Ryan Marino and asked him for his insight. He has been following this issue, and he said while vinyl chloride can be dangerous, this kind of single exposure followed by dissipation and cleanup is unlikely to have detrimental health effects on residents, both short and long term. Now, you need repeated exposure to it. And once the fire was out, the toxicity degrades and dilutes pretty fast. For those miles away from the derailment who were concerned about particles floating in the air and the smell, he says not to worry. Vinyl chloride exists in our environment in small quantities, from PVC pipes to car interiors. And the fact that the chemical spill was diluted reduces the level of exposure, but you can't blame these folks who are concerned about the smells in their house. Dr. Marino did say, though, he is impressed by the response by this accident, and he hopes this leads to fixing any regulatory failures, and he hopes people call for better safeguards as well. And I'm sure that there are going to be a lot of calls to representatives, both state and federal.
Now, despite the assurances that these officials are giving these residents, clearly some are still concerned. So what do they do? Where do they go if they are concerned?
The EPA did round-the-clock air monitoring from hundreds of different points and found the air quality was safe. And the National Guard also said they're checking inside homes and businesses. But if you have questions, there are toxicologists ready to help to talk to. You can call them at 234-542-6474. And if you want your air tested in your home, as Neil said, keep in mind, there are 300 people already who have asked for the air quality tested in their home. That number, though, is 330-849-3919. You can have somebody come out. But again, there are about 4 people who are doing this testing. I also put these numbers along with Dr. Marino's entire comments on WKYC.com, so you can check it out for yourself.
Our situation.
Hey everybody, greetings and good vibes. You are tuning into Arm Yourself with Knowledge. I'm your guy, John here with some news for you today. We're actually going to be talking about East Palestine, Ohio, and excuse me, the things that are going on out there, the implications of the impact environmentally, what this means for the immediate region, and how this could have already been prevented. The kind of conversations that have already been talked about prior to this situation happening, as far as our infrastructure in this country, our transportation network, things that could have already been done and prevented, our laws when it comes to toxic chemicals. These are conversations that are now being discussed and talked about, but shouldn't we have already been talking about them with more seriousness and veracity prior to this catastrophe happening, and tons of people possibly being permanently displaced due to them not wanting to be around catastrophe? So I want to talk about some of the things that I pulled up, the East Palestine train derailment, and what we currently know about the situation. Norfolk Southern Railroad submitted its remedial action plan on Monday, detailing its response to the train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, and what it plans to do next. In the plan submitted to the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency, the company said it will install wells to monitor groundwater and sample soil in the Ohio village. Residents were allowed to return home last week after about 50 train cars, 10 of which carried hazardous materials, derailed in a fiery wreck. On February 3rd, vinyl chloride, a gas contained in 5 of the cars, was released and burned to prevent explosions, causing toxic fumes to be released in the area. The village will host a town hall about the derailment on Wednesday, and that is currently uh, the gist of what's going on here. The village of East Palestine, Ohio, is about 50 miles northwest of Pittsburgh and about 21 miles south of Youngsburg, Ohio. It's part of Columbiana County. The mechanical issue with the rail car axle caused the fiery derailment of about 50 freight cars, and the train was carrying a variety of products, one of which was products containing the vinyl chloride. Vinyl chloride is a colorless gas that's used to make polyvinyl chloride, the hard plastic resin in plastic products like credit cards, PVC pipe, and more. Now, as you heard in that news piece, these particles are already in our environment um, all over. So we do breathe them in small amounts. However, this concentrated amount in this local vicinity, people should have right to be concerned about their homes, their items, their own particular health. But the other thing is the fact that we're even having to have this discussion. Had there been better protocols in place, had there been better laws, had there been better laws to ensure that there would not be a train derailment, we would not be in this situation. People wouldn't feel the need to be worried about their uh, their health when it comes to this, as much as honestly we should be worried about it. Period. The highest levels of vinyl chloride are often found in the air near factories that produce it, and workers at these factories can be exposed to the gas. The general population can also be exposed to vinyl chloride through inhalation, and if a water supply is contaminated, it can enter household air when water is used, according to the National Cancer Institute. Vinyl chloride exposure is associated with an increased risk of a rare form of liver cancer as well as brain and lung cancers. Burning it sends phosgene, a toxic gas that was used as a weapon in World War One, and hydrogen chloride into the air. Just want to share a copy of this real quick. And then I'm going to start posting links to the articles I'm going to read in the comments for y'all to check out as well. So this is something that, of course, is going to be a point um, of pointing fingers between different political parties. As you already know, Democrats are blaming, Republicans are blaming Democrats. However, this is something, no matter the administration, it's still a problem that a government has not ever taken seriously, if you ask me. Yes, but thank you for joining us, Ghost for Akron. Of course, you are Ghost from Akron at Ohio. So you, of course, from Palestine, a little closer to East Palestine than I would say. Yeah, of course. So I'm guessing you're reporting news from something going on in Akron at the moment. Am I right?
Yes, right. All right, y'all. I'm here at the Board of Education. I'm reporting in. Basically, what's going on is that we're supporting the Black history teacher that was escorted out of Garfield Heights High School. Um, he was here supporting himself as well as a couple of people from the Freedom Bloc. We're waiting. If you go back and look at the live, he basically played, a rap song, and he took up his 3 minutes off the rap song because he can't really say too much. So we spoke and we supporting him. What upsets me the most about the whole situation is that he was escorted out of the high school, and here it is, another substitute teacher can leave a 6-year-old child that has a disability unattended. Please make it make sense, y'all. APS don't care about our kids. Not their safety as well. All they care about is pennies. And I'm not going to stop.
So what we're talking about is a Black substitute teacher
Yes.
had posted overnight while no one was there a display about the Civil War
It was the Confederate flag that he
with the
posted.
Confederate flags, right?
And then it posted also that, Negroes vote here. What is upsetting is that we don't want our kids to be educated the truth. We want to sugarcoat it. This is Black History Month, y'all. Black History Month. Black history is not to be sugarcoated. It's not to sit up here and say, oh, it's Black History Month, I'm going to celebrate. This is not a celebration. We're still fighting the battle of slavery any way we can. Look at Jalen Walker. We've seen him getting shot over 50 times. And it's still nothing being done. We still don't know them officers' names. Our kids are living in fear, but they don't know the reason why they're marching, the reason why they're protesting. We're still in slavery. So if people are scared to be heard the truth, then what's the point of marching?
That's why we gotta arm ourselves with knowledge.
Period. And I am definitely going to educate my kids a lot better. I'm actually thinking about pulling my kids out of APS, homeschooling myself, because of the fact that, first of all, they don't care about their safety. Then second of all, or whatnot, they're not giving them the education. I'm from Cleveland. My kids took Black history. My older kids, rather, took Black history. I didn't get mad because of a display. They just had to get educated. I get mad when the safety is not being considered. The board meeting is still going on. We're gonna have to sit up there and go back, Jontel, and make sure that we stream on people's concerns about APS. And I'm not going to stop. See, the thing is that people don't understand. The old me, I would have destroyed the school, because when my kids was not being treated right in their old school district, I went ham, and the security guards, nobody could not stop me. At least I'm sitting up here trying to fight. But to show up on parents is sad here. I feel ashamed to say that my kids go to APS. I'm going back home.
So keep us posted on the situation there in Akron. Do you have any comments really quick about the East Palestine situation?
We haven't heard anything else as far as I'm aware of. I gotta catch up on stuff, y'all. I'm so sorry, because right now I'm so focused on these schools. I haven't been able to focus on the Palestine issues, and I don't call him Mike DeWine. I call him Mr. DeWiney, that don't give a damn about his people or whatnot. He's very racist. So his name is not Michael DeWine, it's Michael DeWiney. So, but are you still watching the meeting, Jontel, on your end? Because I can't see, because I'm coming out here talking to you?
No, I'm covering East Palestine right now.
Oh, okay. But
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Look, I'm jumping.
you
But
are.
Palestine,
I'm,
look, I'm going crazy. I'm going ham. I couldn't hear because it was breaking up in there. But Palestine is still going on. Did you cover how that one reporter got arrested?
actually, that's actually a video that I have up of footage that I wanted to share and talk with people about, so that
Yeah,
they.
let's go ahead and discuss. Let's go ahead and talk about it right now because of the fact that I'm pumped up now too. I'm pumped. Today is the pumped up day. It's Monday.
For real. Okay, so this is via WKYC Channel 3. While Governor Mike, as you call him, this is the governor of Ohio, by the way, Governor Mike DeWine and other local, state, and federal officials were announcing the lifting of the East Palestine train derailment evacuation order on Wednesday. A reporter at the briefing was taken into custody. The reporter, identified as Evan Lambert of News Nation, was apparently trying to do a live report as the news conference was taking place inside the gymnasium at the East Palestine Elementary School. Video captured by 3 News shows law enforcement surrounding Lambert, and then they were ordering him to leave. And as the gathering moved beyond the doors of the gymnasium, police are then seen seeming to be taking Lambert down to the ground, and a female voice in the background can be heard asking officers to stop and shouting, "This is bad. This is bad, Evan. I'm sorry." According to News Nation, Lambert is facing charges of disorderly conduct and criminal trespassing. All right, y'all. Let me go to the footage. Check this
I'm
out.
sorry, John. I'm still at the board meeting. I'm listening though.
Not a problem at all.
All right, I'm still listening.
Guys, this is bad. This is bad. Oh my God. You guys, this is bad. Stop. Stop this. Stop this. Stop. Stop. She wouldn't get this. This is so bad. This is bad. You guys, he's a national correspondent. You cannot do this.
I'm a reporter of News Nation. It's all being recorded right now.
I know it is. This is horrible.
Because you can't talk to people about doing their jobs.
Oh my God, I cannot believe this. This is horrible.
This is what it takes to be a reporter.
Evan, I'm so sorry. Evan, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Sue.
Oh, sure.
Can you please loosen this?
We will.
That one is both sides.
Oh my God.
Thank you very much. Can someone help me?
Yeah. Evan, I'm sorry. Oh my God. This is horrible.
Doing a live shot. If you arrested. I got arrested because I was trying to do a live report about what people need to know.
And he's been here all week. You can't do this to him.
So yeah, reporter Evan was arrested.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy, John, on how he was arrested just trying to report in about Palestine. And, you know, we just now know as journalists and the media that we got to now be careful on that too, because we could be arrested for reporting.
Exactly.
know.
Exactly.
So
And even and this is why we here on Late go so hard for um, Julian Assange, and for the rights of all journalists, we have to continue to take a stance, or else our rights, all of our rights, if journalists' rights are keep on being encroached on and violated all over the world, mind you, this has been happening all over the world. This says that all of our rights, we won't have them. Journalists speak for all of us. And you're seeing not only just a journalist, but you're seeing a black male journalist who's simply reporting about environmental issues. It's not even, it doesn't have anything to even do with social justice issues. This having to do with environmental issues. He couldn't even report on it. He was arrested. This is 2023. Wake up, America. Wake up, world. And this is all surrounding the East Palestine, Ohio train derailment, chemical explosion. This is insane, but there's a lot surrounding the situation, and it's not as mainstream as it actually should be, y'all. There's lots of lingering questions surrounding um, this whole situation. There's animals that have been dying for as far as 100 miles away from the actual incident. There's now contamination in the Ohio River, which goes as far, people as far away as West Virginia are feeling the brunt of this catastrophe, and they're saying that it also could be one of the largest or the largest environmental disaster in U.S. history thus far, which that is big if you don't understand the severity of this yet.
right, this is my whole thing is like how we it seems like all of our rights are just being taken away completely. But journalists, when it comes down to our jobs, when we speaking up and things like that, they want to snatch our rights away and our voices away so quickly. We got to figure out how to end this because
Mhm.
I do smell. I'm just gonna say it nice and clear. Those who are listening, I smell a civil war coming on soon if we don't get it together. I smell it, and we don't want that, but I smell it coming. We're gonna be repeating history for real, y'all. And it's sad.
So I found an article that I will share here in the comments. So following a huge fire, um, footage of a huge fire following a train derailment.
Yes. But yes, we gotta step it up. But
Yes,
I'm about to get ready to go back in here to the
of
board.
course,
We're gonna have, and then we're gonna sit up there and finish covering that too, Johnson.
of course. Keep us posted. Let us know.
All right, thank you.
If
Sorry for stepping in on too soon.
you are fine, news don't
That's what
wait.
look. That's what independent media is for. We make mistakes, y'all. Sorry.
Oh no, it's well. That's
All
the
right.
lifestyle. But all right, y'all.
Period. All right. See ya. Love
Be
you.
well.
All right.
Love you. All right. So yeah, I mean, news doesn't wait, and there's always different things going on. There's stuff going on in Akron, Ohio, and that is goes from Akron, reporting on Akron News as they should. Yo, for real. Shout out to Chaz Neil. Thank you for tuning in, my brother. Appreciate you. And I did see your question. I'm gonna get to that in a second. Uh, Yeah, and shout out to Ghost from Akron. Appreciate you for bringing in the news. As a will anyone, you're always welcome to crash my party here and let us know the news that's going on in your area, please, by all means. Now, following the huge fire and train derailment in northeastern Ohio on February 3rd, which forced residents of the area near the Pennsylvania border to evacuate.
Hundreds of East Palestine residents within a 1-mile radius of the incident that led to a toxic chemical leak were told to leave their homes after authorities warned of a potential catastrophic explosion. Following the evacuation order, they carried out a controlled burn of chemicals that created a large ball of fire, as well as a plume of black smoke. Clips shared online subsequently showed not only the impact caused by the crash, but of other related footage, including what was described as a reporter being arrested simply for covering the situation. A tweet posted by Marjorie Taylor Greene claimed that journalists covering the Ohio derailment disaster had been arrested for trying to tell the story. And you know what? That's the first time I've heard her say something that actually is significant. Go figure. The tweet, which has been viewed more than 3.8 million times, stated, quote, East Palestine, Ohio is undergoing an ecological disaster because authorities blew up the train, derailment cars carrying hazardous chemicals, and press are being arrested for trying to tell the story. Oh, but UFOs. Now, I will say, let me get this mommy off the screen. I will say that we should be talking about the UFO situation, and we are going to actually be talking about the UFO situation here on the Leon block. Maybe it'll be here on Arm Yourself with Knowledge. Maybe it'll be on DAC. We'll get to that. But the point is, the UFO situation is just as important, but it should not be a distraction. And take note that they probably are trying to use that as a distraction now that people are actually looking into this East Palestine, Ohio situation, as they should be, as they rightfully should be. News reporters are doing their jobs as they should be. And the fact that they're doing their jobs maybe a little too well, mainstream and the powers that be don't really like that. So now they're trying to deflect and distract by putting, oh, UFOs, everybody go over here. Y'all generally steer clear of UFOs. Why y'all talking about UFOs now? Think about that for a second. Now, what is going on? A video underneath included a clip of a person being held down and then moved along a street with hands held behind their back. A title above the clip states, Ohio cops arrest a national news reporter for reporting the truth. Check this out. So here's the facts. The video posted on Green's Twitter speaks to the claim that the Ohio train derailment story has received less attention than other news stories, in particular, the recent interception of flying objects in Michigan and Alaska. However, the claim in the video that someone is being led away for reporting the truth does not include context about what happened. Newsweek covered the initial reports about how News Nation reporter Evan Lambert was arrested at a press conference on Wednesday regarding the derailment in Ohio. Footage of Lambert's arrest went viral on social media, with one tweet by News Nation attracting more than 7.9 million views. So people are aware of this incident and him being arrested. So it is speaking to the fact that people do care about what's going on. They want to know, and they do know that mainstream media is gypping them. Further video released by the Ohio State Highway Patrol showed Lambert involved in an argument before he was taken out of the East Palestine School Gymnasium where the conference was being held. He was then taken to the ground and moved out of the building. County municipal records show Lambert was arrested on 2 counts: resisting arrest and criminal trespass, and later released on bond. First of all, resisting arrest, you do know that he was being filmed being arrested, and the cops can be heard on camera stating, we just showed it, them saying stop resisting, and he's saying I'm not resisting, and you can clearly see that he was not resisting. He was sitting on the ground and he was not moving, he was not flinching, he was not moving away from them, but yet they said stop resisting. How was he resisting arrest? And criminal trespass? Who was trespassing? Other people were there too. Other people were reporting as well. Get y'all shit straight. That makes no sense. Get y'all story straight. The claim that he was arrested for reporting the truth, viewed on its own, is misleading. While Lambert was removed from the venue and arrested, the clip shared by Green, viewed alone, does not provide all the facts. As noted by News Nation, Lambert was in a room full of other journalists doing their job, so there's little likelihood that police or officials were trying to prevent the truth from being reported. I disagree. Regardless of one's views of the incident, the footage shared by Green editorializes the facts, fitted in among other claims about underreporting of the Ohio derailment story. It may create the impression of a more conspiratorial plot. Well, those are my thoughts. What say you? What are your thoughts? News Nation has defended its reporter, with its Washington bureau chief Mike Viqueira telling the channel's On Balance host Leland Vittert on Wednesday that Lambert behaved professionally while being manhandled. He added that Lambert was talking very quietly to the camera and reporting on a very critical story of interest to the public. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, who had been speaking to reporters, said that Lambert's arrest was nothing he authorized and added that he's fine with people doing a live broadcast while he's talking during a press conference. He said, quote, "I'm certainly very, very sorry that happened. I don't know all the facts, but he or she, whoever was arrested, had every right to be reporting and do what they do every single day." Newsweek has contacted Ohio State Highway Patrol, News Nation, and Marjorie Taylor Greene for comment. So that was like a fact-checking post article thingamajigger that's there. Now, Chaz, you asked, does this affect the water in Akron? So there is a article that I brought up that hopefully will answer that question. Excuse me. Ohio train derailment results in lawsuits, dead animals, and lingering questions about toxic chemicals. The fallout continues to be from the derailment of a train carrying toxic chemicals near the Ohio-Pennsylvania border earlier this month, as local residents file lawsuits and some cast doubt on official assurances about air quality and water quality. The derailment and evacuation. Again, 50 train cars operated by Norfolk Southern derailed in East Palestine, Ohio, which is a town of about 5,000 people located 50 miles northwest of Pittsburgh. 10 of those train cars contained toxic chemicals, and that derailment resulted in a massive fire, and Governor Mike DeWine ordering an evacuation on Sunday, February 5th. And within 2 hours, a drastic temperature change took place in a rail car, and there is now the potential of a catastrophic tanker failure, which could cause an explosion with the potential of a deadly shrapnel traveling up to a mile, DeWine said in a statement, adding that those with children in their home who chose not to evacuate would be subject to arrest. Norfolk Southern released toxic chemicals from 5 of their derailed tanker cars in an attempt to preempt a larger explosion. One of the chemicals they were most concerned about was vinyl chloride, a colorless gas used in making plastic products. And according to the National Cancer Institute, exposure to the gas is associated with an increased risk of a rare form of liver cancer, as well as primary liver cancer, brain and lung cancers, lymphoma, and leukemia. The chemical can also enter water supplies and be ingested. Concurrent with the releasing of the chemicals, DeWine and Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro issued a wider evacuation order for the area around East Palestine, stating, quote, "The controlled release process involves the burning of the rail car's chemicals, which will release fumes into the air that can be deadly if inhaled. Based on current weather patterns and the expected flow of the smoke and fumes, anyone who remains in the red affected area is facing grave danger of death. Anyone who remains in the yellow impacted area is at high risk of severe injury, including skin burns and serious lung damage." 2 days later, DeWine issued a statement that it was safe for residents to return home, saying air quality samples in the area of the wreckage and in nearby residential areas have consistently showed readings at points below safety screening levels for contaminants of concern. Based on this information, state and local health officials determined that it is now safe for community members to return to their residences, end quote. James, Justice of the Environmental Protection Agency, echoed that, stating, quote, "All of the readings we've been recording in the community have been at normal concentration. Hundreds and hundreds of data points we've collected over the time show the air quality is safe. The EPA has yet to release a full list of chemicals potentially released in the crash. Kurt Collar of the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency said that the incident had resulted in the death of fish, but that the town's water supply was safe. I ain't trusting that. The Ohio Department of Natural Resources told Yahoo News on Monday that the estimated stream length affected is approximately 7.5 miles and that the spill killed an estimated 3,500 fish. Material does, and in this case, has entered the waterway. Actions were taken to minimize that. There were detections through laboratory analysis of it. The unfortunate side effects of those were immediately toxic to fish, but all the information and data to date is that it's still been protected. It's still been protective to drinking water. DeWine said Norfolk Southern would pay for testing for private wells supplying rural homes, saying it's quote, it's very understandable you may want the testing done before you go back in your house. The company had initially pledged $25,000 to support the efforts of the American Red Cross in their temporary community shelters. $25,000. The burden is upon them to assure the public that what they do every day is safe. And this is what DeWine said of Norfolk Southern last week. We will hold their feet to the fire, Norfolk Southern's feet to the fire, as I say, and make sure that everything is done right, said East Palestine Mayor Trent Conaway. It's not just Norfolk Southern that's my issue here, though. This is our society in general, our government, our laws, our policies, how lax we are on the environment, the difference between the Trump administration and the Biden administration when it comes to environmental issues. There is none, because no differences have been made. The Biden administration has not taken any steps to change any of the things that Trump administration did, to just say, hey, corporations, do what you want, make whatever money you want, destroy the environment. It's okay. And now we're seeing one of the worst environmental disasters in U.S. history to take place. And now people want to hold one corporation's feet to the fire. What about them all? What about the fact that we should be blaming our government for the lack of investment in proper infrastructure when it comes to not even just transportation for citizens, but also the movement of capital product here in America? If your precious product is so precious, why are you not ensuring that it's protected and that the people are protected from it as well? Make it make sense. But oh no, we're in a country that just doesn't give a fuck, and we just haphazardly do what we want because we think that we can, and that this world is it just will always be here, and we can just do what we want to it. This situation is one that we should all really be paying attention to. It's something that is not going to go away, and we are going to feel the brunt of these effects for years and years to come. This is not something that we will just be dealing with in the area of Ohio and Pennsylvania, Eastern Ohio and Western Pennsylvania. This is something that I think the country will feel repercussions from, because it will be a political point to talk about when it comes to politics. When it comes to the blame game, this will be something that will be brought up. So I just want everyone to take note of that. All right, y'all. It is time for me to go ahead and get out of here because my computer is not acting right on me now. Go figure. I guess the universe is telling me it's time to wrap it on up. My mouth is getting dry, and we've got other stories to share anyway. But, however, make sure that you do your research